In this video, I will reveal whether I think each probable starting NFL quarterback for the 2022 season is overrated, underrated, or properly rated. I'm going to go by team, so hold on to your nuts and butts because some feelings are about to get hurt. Arizona Cardinals, Kyler Murray. Murray has taken a lot of shit recently, no offense to Odell Beckham Jr., for his work habits. But in a way, the media and fans turning on him and pointing out his flaws has somewhat made him a little underappreciated in my opinion. He's not elite, but he's not bad enough to be the meme that he's becoming. Verdict: underrated. Atlanta Falcons, Marcus Mariota. Mariota is obviously just a stopgap at quarterback for a rebuilding team. The former number 2 overall pick has never lived up to expectations, and I don't expect him to suddenly turn his career around now. He's a below average starter, and everybody seems to realize that. Verdict: properly rated. Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson. Lamar is one of the more controversial quarterbacks in the league as the debate continues over how successful he can be as a pure passer. Nobody doubts his athleticism or running ability, but in the end, I believe all of his supporters and detractors tend to cancel each other out. Verdict: properly rated. Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen. Allen is rightfully considered in the upper echelon of quarterbacks in the league right now, although his regular season efficiency stats last year weren't as great as you'd think. He's basically what Lamar Jackson supporters think Lamar is. Verdict: properly rated. Carolina Panthers, Baker Mayfield / Sam Darnold. A double dip of shit. My gut tells me Mayfield will be the starting quarterback since the team traded for him after Darnold's terrible 2021 season. But then again, the team traded for Darnold too last year, so who the fuck knows? Baker is a little less shitty than Darnold, but nobody acts like either are good. Verdict: both properly rated. Chicago Bears, Justin Fields. Point blank, I wasn't impressed with Fields as a rookie even though his physical tools are evident. I still keep hearing though how great his potential is even from non-Bears fans, and quite honestly, a lot of it just reeks of draft junkies trying to confirm their priors. Verdict: overrated. Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Burrow. Burrow had a great regular season, but he has gotten way too much credit for the Bengals' Super Bowl run. He was merely okay in the playoffs, but the media makes it out like he was carrying the team when he just wasn't. He also got no criticism for failing to close out the Super Bowl despite getting 4 chances. I get that his offensive line was terrible, but if he's truly as good as people say, he seals that game. Verdict: overrated. Cleveland Browns, Deshaun Watson / Jacoby Brissett. Due to his excessive horniness, Watson won't be playing for the Browns until at least week 7 or possibly later. On the field, he's great, but honestly, no quarterback is worth the distraction he is providing. Brissett is one of the most boring stopgap starters in the league. He stinks, but he seems like a nice guy, so the media isn't too hard on him. Verdict: both overrated. Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott. Much like his predecessor, Tony Romo, Dak has far outplayed his initial draft status, but it still hasn't been enough to get Dallas to an NFC Championship game. Dak is paid like an elite quarterback, but he falls just short of that standard. He excels at putting up great stats against shit teams and disappointing you against good teams. Verdict: overrated. Denver Broncos, Russell Wilson. Wilson has his flaws. He takes a lot of sacks and he doesn't like throwing short, but he's like a power hitter in baseball. His strikeouts are more than canceled out by his home runs, in this case his ability to extend plays and his unmatched deep ball accuracy. Verdict: properly rated. Detroit Lions, Jared Goff. Jared Goof has never really been taken seriously, even when he was making Pro Bowls and a Super Bowl appearance with the Rams. It was mostly, rightfully, credited to Sean McVay holding his hand. Now that he's on his own, he's back to stinking it up. Verdict: properly rated. Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers. Truth be told, I've grown tired of Rodgers' act. He's a hippie with a golden arm. Is his consistent regular season excellence enough to outweigh the yearly postseason disappointment he endures? I could honestly lean either way. But he's also why the Packers have remained relevant for the last decade, so I just can't say he's overrated. Verdict: properly rated. Houston Texans, Davis Mills. Mills and his freakishly long draft neck ended up being the second best rookie quarterback in the league last year, which nobody saw coming. His team sucks and he had terrible games, but he honestly showed more than several of his more highly touted draft classmates. He'll never be elite, but he'll last a long time in the league. Verdict: underrated. Indianapolis Colts, Matt Ryan. The Colts have had a different starting quarterback every year under Frank Reich, and now it's Matt Ryan's turn. Ryan has been pretty boring and vanilla in both personality and play style, so he doesn't really generate much reaction either way, unless you're talking about 28-3 of course. I don't think anybody is expecting much from him at this stage of his career. Verdict: properly rated. Jacksonville Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence. Lawrence got a pass from everybody for his horrible rookie season. While he certainly was in a terrible situation, isn't a generational quarterback prospect supposed to elevate his teammates? I didn't see nearly enough from him to justify the insane hype he came in with. He has no more excuses this year. Verdict: overrated. Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes. Mahomes' first 3 seasons were so amazing he earned some slack for a quote-unquote down year last year. He appeared to be back to normal late in the season and in the first 2.5 games of the playoffs before he became the worst player on the field in the second half of the AFC Championship game, costing the Chiefs a Super Bowl trip. He really didn't get much criticism for it, but I can't say he's overrated. Verdict: properly rated. Las Vegas Raiders, Derek Carr. Carr has always been an easy target for jokes considering he's never won anything and he just played in his first playoff game last year. Whenever he is on the verge of looking like an elite quarterback, he shits his pants. He's basically Kirk Cousins with eyeliner. He can beat bad teams, but just don't expect him to show up against contenders. Verdict: properly rated. Los Angeles Chargers, Justin Herbert. This is honestly one of the tougher choices because Herbert's talent is so obvious and he's getting so much hype despite the fact that he currently has a losing record as a starter. But fuck it, my eyes tell me that he's the real deal. But if LA misses the playoffs again this year, discussions will have to be had. Verdict: properly rated. Los Angeles Rams, Matthew Stafford. Stafford went from being a career loser to a Super Bowl champion in 12 months. He wasn't just along for the ride either. He had a great regular season, beat the evil Tom Brady in the playoffs, and had a memorable game-winning drive in the Super Bowl. He plays on a loaded team and has McVay to help him, but he still made several elite clutch throws to get his team across the finish line. Verdict: underrated. Miami Dolphins, Tua Tagovailoa. For all the shit people say about Tua, I really do believe if he reaches his full potential, he could one day be as good as Andy Dalton. Honestly, I've never liked Tua ever since his bitch agent got my old Twitter account suspended last year. I know he has a surprisingly hardcore fan base on Twitter, but everybody who matters realizes he's a limited quarterback. Verdict: properly rated. Minnesota Vikings, Kirk Cousins. Kirk will always put up elite stats and end with a mediocre record. How much of this is him being a legendary stat pattern and how much of it is just bad luck? I think it's a mix of both. Regardless, nobody is afraid of Kirk, and that reflects poorly on him, fair or not. But he's still an objectively good quarterback. Verdict: properly rated. New England Patriots, Mac Jones. Jones got a lot of hype last year as the best rookie quarterback, which was true, but it wasn't a very high bar to clear. He showed flashes of talent, but anybody expecting him to be the next Tom Brady, because he's immobile, white, and plays quarterback for the Pats, is going to be very disappointed. Will he ever be elite? I have my doubts. Verdict: overrated. New Orleans Saints, Jameis Winston. Notoriously famous respecter of women's personal space, Jameis Winston actually took care of the ball pretty well last year before tearing his ACL. Sean Payton did a great job of neutering him from his Tampa days. Payton is gone now though, so will we see wild Jameis again? Either way, I think people realize he's not a great quarterback. Verdict: properly rated. New York Giants, Daniel Jones. Jones sucks, everybody knows it. Even Giants fans have moved on, and the only people who still think he can be good are probably his mom and grandma. After this year, I doubt he'll be a consistent starter in the league ever again. Verdict: properly rated. New York Jets, Zach Wilson. Wilson was unsurprisingly terrible as a rookie, and unlike some other rookie quarterbacks, I really don't even remember anybody trying to hype him up. Unless he goes on to win multiple Super Bowls, he'll always be most known for hunting MILFs. Actually, even if he does win a couple Super Bowls, he'll still probably be most known for hunting MILFs. Verdict: properly rated. Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts. As an Eagles fan, I still really don't know what to think of Hurts. Is he the long-term starter? Is this year his last year? He has some talent as a runner and as a playmaker, but if his first read isn't open, he tends to panic. It's not like anybody thinks he's a great quarterback, but watching him play, I just can't help but feel like there are better options out there. Verdict: properly rated. Pittsburgh Steelers, Mitch Trubisky. Trubisky is currently pegged, no offense to Prince William, as the Steelers starter. He has always been criticized harshly to the point where he's viewed as a historic draft bust. And while it's true that he is a bust, he's not Ryan Leaf or Jamarcus Russell bad like many seem to think. Is he good? No. But he's not terrible. He's average. Verdict: underrated. San Francisco 49ers, Trey Lance. Lance is an intriguing quarterback at this stage. His physical tools are insane, but outside of a couple starts last year, we still really don't know that much about him. From what I hear, it mostly seems to be split down the middle between he'll either be amazing and he'll be terrible. We'll just have to wait and find out. Verdict: properly rated. Seattle Seahawks, Drew Lock / Geno Smith. The quarterback competition version of two homeless bums fighting over a steak. Everybody knows both of these guys suck, but with Lock, there is a little more hope since he's younger and has a big arm. Verdict: both properly rated. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tom Brady. Shady Brady is still going strong and always seems to make throws at crucial moments for his team, but since it's Brady, he will always take all the credit for his team winning, even when he doesn't deserve it. Therefore, it's impossible for him to not be somewhat overrated, even if he is the GOAT and has an unmatchable resume. Verdict: overrated, but still the GOAT. Tennessee Titans, Ryan Tannehill. Tannehill was underrated his first 2 years with the Titans before statistically regressing back to his Dolphins days last year. Tennessee still got the 1 seed, but blew it in the divisional divisional round to the Bengals. I feel like most people realize Tannehill is solid, but not really elite in any way. Verdict: properly rated. And finally, Washington Commanders, Carson Wentz. Wentz has been one of the most made fun of quarterbacks in the league since his 2017 injury. While at first I thought the criticisms he received were unfair, over time he has proven most of them right. He's an average quarterback who struggles in the clutch, and that's a big reason the Colts got rid of him despite respectable numbers. Verdict: properly rated.